What's happening? Turn this a little bit like that. We're live. Is everyone excited for trivia night? It's going to be a banger for sure. It's going to be hard tonight. I can't believe you guys are tied. When I was doing the statistics today, I was like, oh, we're going to get some mileage out of this. Hello, hello, hello. It's going to be a close season, I guess. Wow, General Strife, you're on time. Well done. Which one did you get, Strife? Ashley sent me the one she got. Rock Lords are goated. I love the Rock Lords. People get so mad when you call them Transformers, though. You got the Fry Robot? That one actually looks good. That's the one Ashley wants. I have seen it, Monch. Like, looks pretty good. I don't like the one Ashley got. Cap or whatever its name is. It looks like nice. I wish they would let you put a comment in the community post. I'll tell you what's lame. That's the one I want. I'll tell you what's lame. The fact that we don't have them in Canada yet. That's what's lame. Super duper mega ultra lame. We do not have we don't have those changeables here. Yeah. That's awesome, John. Thanks for letting me know. So who do we got here? I see Buck, Strife, Monschleik, Ashley, Nick. Who am I missing? Jake? Tommy? We had some girls play last week. So I'm going to write down names for trivia. Nick, can you go ahead and take care of that for me? So we got Nick. Bueller. Alex will be here. I'm sure he will. Thank you, Nick. What'd you get CD-wise? I'll give a score update for the season in a few minutes. I'm going to warn you guys today, it's insanely hard. Like, grossly hard. I got some really cool stuff in recently for videos coming up. The Fisher-Price shaving kit from 1985 just came in. I got the Toxico slime dump for Captain Planet and the Planeteers. I've got that here. That's going to be a video soon. I've got this really cool old Fisher-Price wind-up TV from 1965. Got a X-Men Toy Biz morph figure that transforms from morph into a missile. Yeah, that was a cool one. You guys want to hear something cool? Actually, this is cool. This is actually pretty cool news. We got some time. So, who here watch the movie Holes? Okay. If you have any of you seen the movie Holes back in the day? It was with Shia LaBeouf. It's been a while, right? Well, it's based on a kid's book, and Peyton is in grade 7, and they're reading the movie Holes right now. And so, funnily enough, on my Instagram page, Cleo Thomas, who played Zeros in Holes, follows me. So I reached out to him and said, "You'll never believe who's reading and watching the movie in class, my daughter." So now Cleo is calling the school this week to do a video chat and talk about the book and the movie with Peyton's class. Isn't that neat? I told Peyton, I'm like, everyone's going to be like, how on earth did this happen? So I thought that was pretty cool. Yes. Stanley Yelnats. Yeah, it is cool, eh? And he, like, Cleo is actually a super cool guy. He's got a really cool channel. He does a lot of gaming stuff. So him and I have followed each other for a while. Sploosh. Yes. So him and I had followed each other for a while, and I didn't think he was going to call in or do any of that, but he volunteered it. So good for him, eh? So we've got 4 minutes. Tonight is going to be a kind of... See, I wish they would do that here, Strife. Like, sorry, when I'm reading the chat, I got to look at this other computer because mine's too small. The Super Looney Tunes Happy Meal toys. If I could stuff a bag, that's been one of my complaints about the thrift stores is they should put everything in a big bin and give you a bag and let you fill a bag for $5. Because sometimes I only want one thing out of a bag, and then all I do is take the thing out, walk around, donate it again, and get another coupon. There you are, Alex. There you are. So it looks like we've got 24 people watching right now. If you are interested in playing trivia night with us all tonight, there's a few usual players here. Don't be intimidated. I'm going to ask a series of 50 questions that are going to be pretty difficult based on retro toys and nostalgia. If you feel confident that you have the right answer, be first in the chat and you will get a big shiny point. Most points at the end of the night, well, that's going to be the winner. We keep track over the season. This is week 9, and we have 2 co-leaders right now tied for first place. It is Nick Thunder and Ashley Ostroff. Ashley O for short. Tonight's topics are going to be 1970s toys, 1980s toys, 1990s toys. How about ultra hard collector questions and legendary deep cut collector questions? So if you are somewhat of a trivia expert, this is your opportunity. I have a feeling like the buzzer will be getting a significant amount of use tonight, but that's okay because we're going to learn tonight as well. Because I've got some little facts on here that are going to increase your knowledge for future seasons. So these questions are some general trivia. I'm not going to be super duper stringent on a correct answer tonight because these are pretty hard. So if you're around it, I'll probably award you the point, and then that's right. I'll award you the point, and then we'll go from there. Learning is half the battle. Knowing, it's the other half. So I've got Strife, Ashley, Buck, Monschleich, Nick, Alex P. Anyone else that wants to play? Tommy's here. Tommy Pines is here. Got out of jail for tonight. The leaderboard is currently tied at 136 each for first place. After last week's epic, Jake's here. After last week's epic Nick Thunder performance, took Ashley down off of her first place. She was there for a week. So, tonight, you might be tempted to Google, you might be tempted because these are pretty hard. Don't. I want to throw out answers and see if you can get the right answer because these are actually super duper challenging. So it would be very easy to Google it, but that will take the fun away. So we're going to start now. Start with 1970s toys. Every question is worth 1 point. There is a channel-specific bonus question at the end. Hey, Peter. There will be a channel-specific question at the end from one of my most recent videos. But here we go. 1970s toys. Question 1. What company originally manufactured the first mass-market pet rock? What company originally manufactured the first mass-marketed pet rock? If you know, be first in the chat. It was not Hasbro. It was not Divide. It was not Chia or Mattel. We will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Umbrella Corporation did not. Kenner, all good guesses. All good guesses, but all wrong. I will tell you that in 1975, the pet rock was marketed by a company called Wham-O, who already was famous for the production of the Frisbee and the Super Ball. Well done. Good guesses. That's a point for me. All right, we're on question 2. Good start, guys. Peter did not say that. Oh, you did, Peter. My bad. Peter. I didn't see it. I did not see that. It came in right after Tommy's Mattel. My bad, Peter. You're good. I got you. Peter, don't be sassy. Don't be sassy. Because he's right here. Okay? Question 2. Pardon me, Mr. Perfect. Question 2. Which 1970s action figure line introduced the first swivel arm battle grip? Which 1970s action figure line introduced the first swivel arm battle grip? If you know, be first in the chat. G.I. Joe is the correct answer. Peter gets his second point of the evening. The swivel arm grip debuted in the early 1970s, allowing figures to hold accessories more naturally. G.I. Joe was the correct answer. Yeah, Peter's got 2. Question 3. What was the original retail price of the Big Jim figures when they were first released? What was the original retail price of Big Jim figures when they were first released? It was a good guess, Strife. G.I. Joe seemed like it would be almost a sucker's bet, you know, like $24.99 in the 70s. Y'all are crazy. I'm going to give it to Ashley. Ashley's right. It was $3.99. So Ashley gets the point. The Big Jim figures launched at around $3.99 US, premium priced compared to their competitors. Yep, Ashley, you get the point. Well done. Now, if this was Price is Right, you would not have won because it's closest without going over. But I'm in a nice mood today because I bought a car today. I bought a car. That was the other news for the channel. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Top notch. All right, question 4. Which toy company produced Micronauts before Mego acquired U.S. distribution in the 1970s? Which toy company produced the Micronauts before Mego acquired U.S. distribution? Hardly. Kenner is incorrect. Tonka is a good guess, but also incorrect. There we go. Oh. Ashley, you were close. Hot Wheels is incorrect, but good guess. You might want to correct it. We're going to go 5. There we go. Okay. Nick got it after Ashley. You know what's showing up on my... I got to watch this screen over here because it's showing like Chinese characters and competition, but on here it's showing Takara. So it was Takara. So Nick, you got that point. My bad. The Micronauts originated in Japan as Microman before Mego licensed and rebranded them for the US. I don't know why it's doing that. That's okay. Question 5. Still anybody's game. Here we go. What controversial material was removed from early Creepy Crawlers sets due to safety concerns? What controversial material, 50, was removed from early Creepy Crawler sets due to safety concerns? Uranium. Fisher Price Joy of Learning was not removed. Plutonium. Could you imagine? You guys are wild. You're being too specific. Think in terms of what they have. Kryptonite. Good guess. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. It's like PVC goop. Yeah, it was called the plastic goop chemicals. Plastic goop. So the stuff that they make the creepy crawlers with, you've seen it on the channel before, that is trademarked, known as plastic goop. But they had a different formula that had way more chemicals in it, and they reformatted it due to safety concerns. So no, I was looking for the word chemicals. I just said 50, Olivia. Yum, drinky drink. Forbidden fruit snacks. So I'm not going to give any points there because y'all are wrong. Smell is so good. So good. Okay, let's go. Question 6. What year did Stretch Armstrong first appear in stores? What year did Stretch Armstrong first appear in stores? 1978. 2,973 is incorrect. Good guess. Looking for 1976 was the correct answer. First person with that is none other than Ashley with the point. Ashley got it. Stretch Armstrong debuted in 1976 and became iconic for his corn syrup filling. Corn syrup filling. Now Ashley has a 1-point lead in the season standings over Nick. Question 7. Which toy line featured interchangeable magnetic feet to stand on metal surfaces? Which toy line featured interchangeable magnetic feet to stand on metal surfaces? If you know, be first in the chat. This is a 70s toy. Nerfles did not have magnetic feet. Nerfles were plastic. Transformers is a good guess, but that's incorrect. Think 70s because that's where we're at right now in time. Does anybody know? We're going to go 5. Micronauts is the correct answer. The Micronauts had like little magnets you could put them together with. Ashley gets a 3rd point. Well done. That was a tough one. Okay, so this one is a insanely deep cut. Yeah. Micronauts. Well, in the 70s, there wasn't that many toys to choose from, right? So let's go. Question 8. What 1970s board game used a hidden cassette tape as part of the gameplay? What 1970s board game used a cassette tape as part of the gameplay? It was very innovative for its time. If you know, be first in the chat. Dream Phone was 1992 or 1989. Voices in the Dark is a good guess. Seance, Clue, no. Dark Tower, Mall Madness. Y'all are too far in the 90s. We're going to go 5, 4, 3. Good guess, but wrong. 2, 1. Okay. The answer was released in 1979. The game was called The Mystery of Chimney Rock. It used an audio cassette to guide gameplay, which was a first for any board game in its time. The Mystery of Chimney Rock. Told you, some of these are going to be nasty. That's a point for me. Okay, question 9. We'll do an update, and then we're on to 80s questions after the next one. If that's not one of the deep cuts, just think about the deep cuts coming up. Okay, we're going to go question 9. What company produced the first die-cast Hot Wheels competitor to outsell Mattel in the late 1970s? What company produced the first die-cast Hot Wheels competitor to outsell Mattel in the late 1970s? The answer I'm looking for is Matchbox, and that is Tommy Pines. Tommy, that's your first point of the evening. Well done. Matchbox briefly outsold Hot Wheels in the late 1970s due to their realism-focused designs. That was why they got ahead. Then Hot Wheels came back and took it over. Question 10. This one's awesome. This one is my favorite question of the night so far. So, what famous 1970s toy was inspired by a bar bet between two advertising executives? So two advertising executives were sitting in a bar and they had a bet about a toy. One said, I bet I could make any toy a bestseller. The other guy said, I'll take that bet. The Pet Rock was created after a bar bet claiming anyone could sell anything. So Ashley has the point. The Pet Rock was created on a dare, and that person made $1 million. There you go. Now you can impress your friends and neighbors. After 10 questions, the score is as follows. Ashley has 4. Peter has 2. Tommy has 1. Nick has 1. And I have 1. Yeah, that's what she's going to do. Okay, so we have moved out of the 70s and into the 80s. These next 10 questions are all going to be 80s toy specific. So if you are an 80s baby like me, this is your opportunity to score some points. And I did not know this first one until today. So we'll preface that. There should be some coming up, Strife. What was the original working title for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? What was the original working title for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? So the toy line originally wasn't called He-Man or Masters of the Universe. It was called something else. If you know, be first in the chat. Nick Thunder is absolutely correct with Lords of Power. What a great name. He-Man was originally pitched as a Conan-styled toy line. Lords of Power. And no, it was not She-Man, Masters of the Galaxy. No, it was not. Question 12. Which G.I. Joe vehicle was never released at retail despite appearing in catalogs? Which G.I. Joe vehicle was never released at retail despite appearing in catalogs? It's not the tank. The gunship, the tank is incorrect. Tiger tank is incorrect. We will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The G.I. Joe minivan. Okay, bye, Jake. So, the G.I. Joe Missile Command headquarters appeared in catalogs, but was never mass-produced. The Missile Command headquarters, one of the rarer G.I. Joe pieces to find, if you can find it. The minivan was also close, but they did release it in the early 2000s. So, question 13. Which Transformers character was banned in the United Kingdom due to safety concerns? 80s toys. Which Transformers character was banned in the UK due to safety concerns? If you know, be first in the chat. Megatron is incorrect. Believe it or not, I thought Megatron, but it's not Megatron. It's actually another Decepticon. Test your Transformers knowledge. Soundwave. No, they weren't banning cassette players. They weren't banning fighter jets either. We're going to go 5, 4. Radio Shack also made a knockoff of this one. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you remember Megatron, you remember Soundwave, you remember Starscream, but do you remember Shockwave, the Cybertronian general that turned into a laser cannon? It was not Megatron, it was Shockwave. So Shockwave was banned for being too realistic in weapon form. Yes. Yes, the laser gun, not the Megatron one. Shockwave that talk like this. Okay, question 14. This one's actually pretty awesome. Which 80s toy line? Yes, he did. Which 80s toy line reused, repainted Star Wars figure molds? Which 80s toy line reused, repainted Star Wars figure molds? Get a little purple dot eye. Think about it. Think about 80s action figures and 80s things. Diaclone, that would be Transformers. I'm talking Star Wars. Nobody's got it yet. Is CPJ going to win the night? We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heck yeah, I do. So, if you collected 80s toys, you'd probably come across 2 different sets of toys for the original A-Team. There's the G.I. Joe styled A-Team figures. Actually, there's 3. There's the G.I. Joe styled A-Team figures. There's the bigger A-Team figures that are like 6 inches. And there's a smaller one that's about 3 3/4 inches that don't really have a lot of features. That's because they were repainted Star Wars figures that they made into the A-Team. Yeah, the A-Team. So they weren't sure if it was going to sell. So they didn't want to go all out on the toy line. So they used Star Wars figures until they actually did sell. And then future lines had better features to them. Question 15. What was the first Transformers Combiner team released in the United States? Which was the first Transformers... Yeah, sorry, Strife. Articulation. I couldn't get the words out. What was the first Transformers Combiner team released in the U.S.? Combiner. Constructicons is correct. Is that Ashley with the point? Ashley with the Transformers lore? The first U.S. Combiner team was the Constructicons, who formed Devastator. Dinobots actually did have a combiner, but that wasn't until later. Okay, we're going to go question 16. Which toy company lost the Star Wars license in 1985, briefly halting figure production? Which toy company lost the Star Wars license in 1985, 85, briefly halting figure production. It was not Mattel. Kenner is correct. General Strife with the point. It was Kenner. They lost the Star Wars license after declining sales in 1985. They got it back, but they lost it for a bit. Cool. Question 17. What He-Man figure was pulled from the shelves for being too violent? What Hasbro or what He-Man figure was pulled from the shelves for being too violent? Skeletor is incorrect. Good guess, though. No. Nope. Nobody's got it yet. It was a member of the Horde. I'll give a hint. Oh, you missed out, Strife. We will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The figure that was pulled from the shelves originally was named Hordak, leader of the evil Horde, enemy of She-Ra, and he had a giant skeleton face, even creepier, kind of like a vampire skeleton, and a big bat on his chest, and was super gray and white and creepy. And they pulled Hordak because it was criticized for being too violent. The He-Man line criticizing a character for being too violent is just about the silliest thing that I have ever heard. Is that another point for me, by the way? Question 18. Hello, Pickle Man. Question 18. Which early My Little Pony release included a manufacturing error that made it extremely rare and exceedingly valuable? Hodor. Which early My Little Pony release included a manufacturing error that made it extremely rare? One of the My Little Pony figures was missing a cutie mark, and that's what made it rare. But it was not Sunshine or Pinkie Pie, and definitely not Serena. Charmander also incorrect. It's also the name of a candy. I'll give a hint. The name of a candy that you might get from your grandparent. Skittle? No. Minty? No. Gumdrop? Good guess, but incorrect. Go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The name I was looking for was Butterscotch. There you go. Olivia, I'm giving you the point. You got in just before I closed it out. Olivia, point for you. Olivia with her first points all time on CPJ Trivia Night. Excellent job. Admiral. That's not an appropriate name. We're on question 19. Still anybody's game. I'll give a score update after the 20th question. Here we go. What arcade-based toy line featured figures with holographic internal skeletons? What arcade-based toy line featured figures with like holographic internal skeletons? Tron is incorrect. They were like, there was a Native American, there was a zombie, there was little ghost guys. We're thinking 80s here. There you go. Supernaturals is correct. Supernaturals. That was Ashley with the point. Now, they said arcade-based, but I've never seen a Supernaturals arcade game. And if I do, I'm going to buy it like in 5 seconds. Supernaturals is one of the coolest toy lines you'll ever see. If you can find them complete. If you can't, no bueno. Tommy. Here we go. Question 20. What was the original price? Okay, we're going back to the 80s here, okay? Going back to the 80s. So think 80s pricing for this one. What was the original price of the G.I. Joe USS Flag aircraft carrier? What was the original price of the G.I. Joe USS Flag aircraft carrier? Not what the price is now, because now it's like $5,000. It's the most expensive mass retail toy ever released for priced for inflation. Nobody's got it yet. Nobody's within $10 of it yet. An arm and a leg is a good guess. I'm going to give the point to Nick Thunder. Nick Thunder was at 120. The price was $109.99 US retail for the G.I. Joe USS Flag aircraft carrier, I believe in 1985 or 1986. And at that point in time, and adjusted for inflation, it's the most expensive mass retail toy ever produced. Yep. But when you adjust, what would 109, somebody that's got like Google quick there that can jump off, do inflation adjustment for $109 and do it for today. Put that thing on layaway. Crazy. Okay, so after 20 questions, Ashley's got 6, Nick has got 4, I got 4, Peter's got 2, Olivia's got 1, Tommy's got 1, General Strife's got 1. I think 85. $325 adjusted for inflation. It's pretty good. I feel like it's more than that. Let's check. Inflation adjustment calculator. So it would have been 1985. 109. Yeah, you're right, Alex. About $350. Okay. Question 21. We're in the 90s now. We're moving up to the 90s. So these are going to be all 90s questions. Like, whose parents were buying them that in the 80s? Okay, so what was the first Playmate Ninja Turtle figure released after the original 4 figures? So originally there were obviously the 4 turtles. What was the first Playmate Ninja Turtle figure released after those original 4? April is incorrect. Shredder is incorrect. Splinter is correct. General Strife with the point. It was the first non-turtle released by Playmates. Master Splinter. So how I think the original, the Shredder was terrible. How I think the original Ninja Turtle line went, they released it in waves. And so they released the first 4 and then Splinter. He had like the gauntlets on his arm, Shredder, but his legs were kind of bent funky, so he had to be standing like that. They made up for it in future bad guy figures, though. Question 22. Which Power Rangers toy was recalled due to choking hazards? Which Power Rangers toy was recalled in the 90s due to choking hazards? The blimp was insanely cool. The blimp, the party vehicle, the Technodrome, they had some great stuff. Remember the Ninja Turtle toy? The White Ranger what? Come on, Strife. The White Tiger what? Nope. The Saber accessory is correct. The White Ranger Saba sword was recalled due to choking and projectile concerns. Ashley with the point. Question 23. You did. You did, General Strife. You're right. So we can take a point away from Ashley. That's your third point of the night. No, you're good. I got it. Some of the stuff that I'm reading on this one isn't showing up properly, so I got to look at the second screen. Okay, question 23. What 1990s action figure line included real metal chains that caused safety issues? Saba is correct. The spelling is correct on that. Which 1990s action figure line, common, included real metal chains that caused safety issues? Spawn is correct. The early waves of Spawn toys included real metal chains that were recalled due to safety issues. So that is a Nick Thunder point. Question 24. What Pokemon card set was originally printed without a rarity symbol? What Pokemon card set was originally printed without a rarity symbol? Jungle is incorrect. Base set 96 is correct. The original base set shadowless early print runs lacked symbols due to layout errors. So who had that first? Ashley? Gotta catch 'em all. Further lines didn't have it, but the original one to have missed print runs was shadowless. Apparently, Buck, Ashley knows this. Come on, Buck. Don't be mad. Question 25. We're halfway through the pennants known as CPJ Retro Trivia. The tonight is nasty. I'm sorry. What company originally passed on the Tamagotchi before Bandai picked it up? Or Bandai. What company originally passed on Tamagotchi before Bandai picked it up? Nintendo, Buck. All that complaining and you finally got a question right. Well done. Nintendo passed on Tamagotchi first. What a epic fail that was. Could you imagine if Nintendo had Tamagotchis? Yep. You can impress your friends and neighbors with that fun fact. Question 26. If anybody gets this, I'm going to bow down because this one is insane. Yeah, it would be a Tamagotchi subscription. And they'd release 12 different models. Which toy line introduced DNA splicing gimmicks? Which toy line first introduced DNA splicing gimmicks using mix and match body parts? There was a toy line, the first toy line to introduce where you could mix and match body parts to a certain figure. It's not Terminator. Discovery Toys is incorrect. Jurassic Park, Beyblade, all incorrect. Lego, okay, you know what? Tommy, I'm giving you a point anyway, because that is thinking outside the box. I'm going to give Tommy a point, because you guys are never going to get it anyway. The name of the toy line, yeah, Lego should count. The name of the toy line was called Zevos. They were called Zevos. And that is now a lot of toy companies you can mix and match body parts. But back then, that was the first action figure line where you could take a part off and make a different part. Yeah, super obscure toy line. But we'll go with Lego. Fake toy line. Beat it. There's no fake toy line. You think I make these answers up? Xevoz. Google it. Zevos. Like the X is silent. Deep cut. See? Zevos. That's how you spell it, Seabury. Yep. Now you know. Okay, let's go. Question 27. What Furby language was mistakenly believed to be a foreign language? What Furby language was mistakenly believed to be a foreign language? It's okay. It's okay, Buck. You're all right. Furbish. Nick Thunder with the point. Good job, Nick. Question 28. 28. Furbish was the correct answer. It was mistakenly thought to be an actual foreign language. Now you know. Which Beanie Baby was retired immediately after a manufacturing typo? Which Beanie Baby? Yeah, they called that language that the Furby talked was actually called Furbish. So which Beanie Baby was retired immediately after a manufacturing typo? So far, Lobster, Chameleon, Glory, Platypus, Izzy, and Garcia are all wrong. We will go 5, 4, 3. Oh, good job. Nick Thunder with the point. Peanut the Royal Blue Elephant spelling and color inconsistencies led to a retirement. That elephant. So I'm going to give Nick the point for knowing that. Question 29. It did. It did. Peanut the Royal Blue Elephant. Question 20. You know what? I bet you at that house I went through their basement and found all those Beanie Babies. That was probably there. It's probably one of them that's actually worth money. I have like there's Beanie Babies all around me in here somewhere. Okay, question 29. What was the first McDonald's Happy Meal toy to spark nationwide collector mania? Strife, it is your time to shine. What was the first McDonald's Happy Meal toy set to spark nationwide collector mania? Pokemon is incorrect. Changeables is incorrect. Good guess. Happened in the year 1990 during the height of a craze of a TV show about 4 reptilian teenagers that were super good at martial arts. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That is correct. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm going to give Ashley a point, and I'm going to give Corn Dog a point. Corn Dog, you've been getting all these answers in, so I'm going to give you a special convener's point for getting that right. I gave it to Corn Dog. Corn Dog got a point. You didn't like my clue was top tier. My clue was top tier. Question 30. Corn Dog is on the board. Get it. What was the rarest Mighty Morphin Power Rangers figure variant of the 90s? What was the rarest Mighty Morphin Power Rangers figure variant of the 90s? It's extremely limited. If you ever see it in a thrift bag, grab it because it's worth like $250. Not the Purple Ranger. Not the White Ranger. Fairly common. Red Ranger with kick action is also in common. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2. Metallica armor. No. Master of Puppets Ranger is not there. The Rainbow Ranger is not correct either, but good guess. The Gold Ranger Zeo is an extremely limited variant produced in the 90s, and it is the rarest considered. There you go. The Gold Ranger. See, Strife knows. Okay. So now that we're through the first 30 questions, I'll give a score update. And then we get to this one. It's called the Ultra Hard Collector Questions. So after 30 questions, Ashley's sitting at 9 points. Nick has 7. Strife has 3. Tommy has 2. Peter has 2. Buck has 1. Olivia has 1. Corn Dog has 1. And I have 4. So we are now into ultra hard collector questions. As if those weren't hard enough, we're now going to ultra hard. Which 80s toy was sold with a mail away? Oh, wrong question. What toy line used UV reactive plastics years before it became popular? What toy line used UV reactive plastics before it became popular? Don't get this toy line confused with Brave Star, but it sounds similar. There's your hint. It was kind of like a He-Man knockoff. Not Brave Star, but it was named something similar. Light Bright is incorrect. 5, 4, 3, 2. So close, Alex. 1. The answer you're looking for is Black Star. The Black Star toy line used UV reactive plastic before it became trendy. Now, if you remember Black Star, he sort of looked like He-Man, except he had a star in his chest that would light up. And if I'm not mistaken, the Black Star figures came with these little goblin-like dudes. These little green goblin guys. I think I have one here. I'll show you guys the Black Star character at the end. Okay, question 32. Which 80s toy was sold with a mail-away exclusive weapon never released in the stores? What 80s toy was sold with a mail-away exclusive weapon that was never released in stores? This is one of the rarer He-Man items. I'll give you a hint. It's from He-Man. Since I just said He-Man. So if you remember He-Man, at the end of the line, they introduced a new version of He-Man that was mail-away. He had a traditional sword, but this sword was different. We will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ted, He-Man's brother, is incorrect. Stop it. So, Laser Sword He-Man. Okay? So when they got to the end of the toy line, they introduced a He-Man figure that the sword would light up. And when you bought that figure, you could mail away to get a replica of the actual light up sword. They never actually sold it in stores, but if you mailed away, you could get it. It's one of the rarest He-Man items that you can get, and it is super duper duper pricey if you can find it. Laser Sword He-Man. Deep cut. What action figure line had different chess symbols depending on the factory location? What action figure line had different chess symbols depending on the factory location? And if you held your thumb on it, it would show the symbol. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's also my favorite toy line to review and how the channel started. It's definitely not Care Bears. Transformers. Alex, you're on the board. Transformers is correct. So they had small variants in the chess symbols depending on what factory it came from. So if you look at the chess symbols, like even the rub signs, they all have a little bit of a variant to them. That's all right. Nobody else got it. Question 34. Yeah, it's a factory thing. While they all look the same, the symbols have variants in them. Which is true, Alex. But in different factories in China and Taiwan and where they were made, they would use a different sticker or rub sign. And that's how you can tell where it was created. Okay, so 34. Which toy commercial was banned for false transformation claims? Hi. Which toy commercial was banned for false transformation claims? Transformers is correct. Corn Dog with another point. Corn Dog did not overthink it. Transformers. So they were banned for exaggerated transformation claims. So back in the 80s when things were on TV and they would do like stop motion to make these things transform, people thought they would transform way easier than they would. And so the commercials were banned until they could show exactly how it transformed. Transformation claims. I thought that would be fairly similar. Okay, this one is super duper gross. Super duper duper gross. That's right. I couldn't imagine ever this happening now, but it happened in the 70s, so get a load of this. What 1970s doll toy line featured real human hair and was later discontinued? What 1970s doll line featured real human hair and was later discontinued? Yes. They used real human hair for these dolls in the 70s. Chatty Cathy is a good guess, but it's incorrect. Barbie is also incorrect. Chrissy doll is correct. Nick Thunder, two-time champion with some seriously obscure stuff. It was the Chrissy doll. They used real human hair in early runs, which begs the question, where did they get the real human hair? Question 36. Which toy company reused unsold ET? Which toy company reused unsold ET toys by repainting them into another line? Mattel is correct. Mattel is correct. Alex, that you? Yes. Okay. So they actually repurposed the unsold ET toys into a toy line called Galactic Heroes. Galactic Heroes is actually the line. What 90s toy required refrigeration to function properly? What 90s toy line what 90s toy required refrigeration to function properly? Iceman from X-Men is a good guess. That is correct, but I'm not thinking Iceman. Creepy Crawlers did not require it. You guys are never going to get this one, so I'm going to give a point for Iceman because you guys are not going to get this one. I'll give 10 seconds to get it, but I'm going to give Alex the point for Iceman because that was creative. Charts, get out of here. Okay, so would you believe me if the answer I have here is the Amazing Live Sea Monkeys required refrigeration to remain viable? The Amazing Live Sea Monkeys. They required refrigeration. Yes. Brine shrimp. 2 weeks in a row, we've had sea monkeys come up. Question 38. Do not overthink this one. Please, please don't overthink this one. This one is like a free point. Which Transformers figure has the highest number of official color variants? Which Transformers figure has the highest number of official color variants? Optimus Prime is correct. Nick, point. Good job, Nick. Question 39. What toy line introduced serialized numbering years before limited editions became common? What toy line introduced serialized numbering years before limited editions became common? One of the most popular toy lines of the 80s, produced by Kenner due to the success of the movies. Now, unfortunately, Kenner in 1985 lost the rights to this toy line, despite the fact it was based on one of the most popular media franchises of all time. Carno Reviews gets a point. First points I've ever seen Carno Reviews get on the channel. It was Star Wars. The Star Wars Power of the Force line in the 1980s, towards the end of that line, they started introducing serial numbering, which predated modern limited editions. It wasn't the early lines, but it was the later line. There you go. You thought you had it, but you did not. Question 40. Which toy was marketed as indestructible but failed consumer safety tests? Which toy was marketed as Wow. Alex crushed it. The Tonka indestructible trucks failed safety tests and were thus not indestructible. Good job, Alex. All right, after 40 questions, here is a score update. Ashley has 9 points. Nick has 8 points. I have 4 points. Strife has 3 points. Alex has 4 points. Tommy's got 2. Peter's got 2. Corn Dog's got 2. Buck, Olivia, and Carno have 1. We got 10 questions left, plus channel bonus trivia. Get it? These are legendary deep cuts. Like, these questions have not been deep enough. We're going deeper into the deep cuts. Question 41. What toy was recalled in the 80s for causing static electricity shocks? What toy was recalled for causing static electricity shocks? You can do it. Punching Clown is incorrect. It was a cute toy. You'd put it in the baby's crib and it would light up and you would squeeze it, and it was like an animal that birds would eat. But if you held it too long, you would get a static shock. And thus, glowworm was the correct answer. Alex, point. I got to give you guys questions, give you guys a little bit of hint here. Okay, which Star Wars figure was packaged with the wrong character name for over a year? Which Star Wars character was packaged with the wrong character name for over a year? It was not Boba Fett, but good guess. Zuckuss is incorrect. Baby Yoda, nope. Forlom, good guess. Hey, Stargroove, what's going on? It wasn't Forlom. Forlom was longer. Obi-Wan, Jar Jar Binks. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unfortunately, Yak Face is the correct answer. Yak Face was left in the package for over a year with the wrong character name. Yak Face. What up? That's a point for me. Come on, guys. 8 questions ago. They could have named some other ones way worse names. What 80s toy? Oh, here we go. Here we go. I like this one. I like this one a lot. This is another one that you could just like tell people and show off insane toy knowledge. What 80s toy was designed to counteract video game addiction fears? I'm not kidding. What 80s toy was designed to counteract video game addiction fears? It's not the Rubik's Cube. Grass. It's not grass. It's not Rob the Robot. You'd go outside and you would stand on this and bounce up and down. But it's not a pogo stick. It's not, hey now kids, now gather round, something just skipped into town. But the very best thing of all, there's a counter on this ball. Peter, pogo ball. I'm going to give Peter and Stargroove a point. They both came in at the same time. Stargroove and Peter got the pogo ball. Peter, that's your 3rd point. Good job. It was the pogo ball. It was marketed as active play to combat screen time. You guys were. Did you like? I have that Skip It commercial runs in my head like every day, at least one time. Question 44. Which toy line had figures melt when left in cars due to their plastic formulation? So these toys were made with low-grade plastic. Although they were awesome, they melted if you left them in the car. Not Barbie. Barbie's high-grade plastic. These little things were like sort of a precursor to Pokemon. They were like in your pocket, like a pocket monster, but they were named something different. You would get like witches, and you would get like ogres and cyclops. We will go 5, 4, 3, 2. Homies is a good guess, but incorrect. 2, 1. Oh, Stargroove, I'm giving you the point. Stargroove, I'm giving you the point. Monster in my pocket's correct. Monster in my pocket melted due to the low-grade plastic quality. Excellent job, Stargroove. Here is another deep cut. What 90s collectible toy that took schoolyards by storm had a secret second mold of toys that was never advertised? Oh, could you imagine? That would be my luck. What 90s collectible toy had a second secret mold never advertised? Not Pogs, not Pigs either. Not Beyblades. Crazy Bones. Buck with your point. Buck. Yes, that is correct. They have unadvertised alternate molds. All right, so there was a toy company in the 90s, kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were teenagers with attitudes that were different than turtles, though. They accidentally shipped prototype figures to retail. And thus you can get them, although they're super expensive. They're some of the rarest collector line of this particular toy line of all time. Street Sharks is correct. Alex was on to my little hint there right away. So the Street Sharks accidentally shipped out their prototype figures to retail. Whoops. Question 47. What toy was briefly blamed for interviewing with TV signals? Which 90s toy was briefly blamed for interviewing with TV signals? Oh, that's unacceptable, Ashley. Dream Phone is incorrect. Monschleik, I think you spelled it wrong, but you want to fix that. Furby is correct. I'm giving Monschleik the point because they had it. Cool. Furby was blamed for interference. Although you spelled it wrong, I'm still giving you the point. I got what you meant. Question 48. Which action figure had a copyright lawsuit over muscle sculpting? It did. You got it. Furbies were up to no good. Which action figure had a copyright lawsuit over muscle sculpting? Hulk Hogan? No. They just released a preview for this movie this week. And it looks pretty good. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is correct. Because the He-Man figures looked so much like the pre-existing Conan the Barbarian figures, they were hit with a copyright lawsuit. Although it never went through, it got thrown out. They tried. He-Man is correct. I think Alex got there first, correct? Yeah. Yes, I remember Food Fighters. Love Food Fighters. Question 49, 2 to go, then the channel. This one's crazy as well. Hold on, we're going to the replay. When did you answer first, Ashley? I don't see your answer. Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay, Ashley got the point. I got it, sorry. Had to go to the Sky Judge. I got it. Relax. Relax. Settle down. I'm only human. It's just me here. No production team. Just me on a couch asking questions. We'll get it squared away. We might have to have him come out. He hasn't come out yet. I've been being nice. Question 49. What toy line's vehicles were secretly recycled from model kits? What toy line's vehicles were secretly recycled from model kits? Mask. Peter Reno with the answer. Peter, good job. That is a deep cut, and you nailed it. The Mask toys from Kenner were actually used. They used recycled model kits. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Peter gets some of the toughest questions right. Some of the toughest questions. Question 50. That's all right. You're out here for the end of the night. Which toy became valuable solely because it was never officially released, yet widely advertised? In the terms of collectible action figures, this bad boy is the Holy Grail. What is so special about that Boba Fett, Alex? I'm going to need you to be specific. I'm going to give Carno, Strife, Alex, all a point. No, I'm not going to give Alex a point. Alex didn't specify missile firing. So missile launcher, Nova Fett. I'm going to give Carno a point because he's been here before. Or because he hasn't been here before. So we're not going to get too stringent. And we're going to give Strife because Strife got it exactly. Where are you at, Strife? Okay, so it was missile rocket firing Boba Fett. It was never officially released. And if you want to know why, the Micronauts toy line actually had a bunch of missile firing features that was released in the late 70s. And a couple kids had actually shot them in their eye and choked on them. So Kenner was about to release that Boba Fett, had run all these advertisements on it. And because the Micronauts thing happened, they pulled that. So I think only like 3 to 5 were ever released. And if you ever, like, you'll never see one. But at a toy museum in Texas, a guy has one. It's worth, like, he's had offers of $350,000 for it. That's the way to do it, Olivia. We still have the channel bonus question to go. So here is after 50 questions where we're at. I'm going to try and do by points. So Ashley's got 10. Nick's got 8. Alex has got 6. I got 5. Strife's got 4. Peter's got 4. Tommy's got 2. Buck's got 2. Corndog's got 2. Carno's got 2. Stargroove's got 2. Olivia's got 1. And Monschleich's got 1. So here is the 10-point bonus question. Lots of players tonight. I'm loving it. So the 10-point bonus question for tonight is based on my most recent video on the channel. So if you've been a loyal viewer and watching all my most recent long form channel stuff, you'll probably get this one, but you got to be first in the chat with it to get your shiny 10 points. So CPJ trivia bonus question. What was Homer chasing on the pull string toy from the 1997 Simpsons Subway Kids Pack toy set? Donuts is correct. Ashley got the point. Donuts. So that brings Ashley up to 20 points for the evening, which will give her a 12-point lead over Nick. We have a real battle for first place going on. Excellent job, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these questions. These were straight up diabolical. And I hope you all learned something tonight, a little bit of toy history, because that was some neat fun facts as opposed to the regular old trivia stuff. There you go. You got 1,000 points. Excellent. I don't have the car with me yet. I get it tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I bought a car. So guess what? So where I'm at in Canada, it is freezing cold right now. Oh, Alex, I ordered 2 booster boxes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Magic the Gathering for March 8th. CPJ Rips is going to have those. I bought a 2025 Ford Escape. I needed something reliable for my daughters and I. So I drive an old car just because I'm cheap like that. And here where I'm at, it's minus 17. And with the Celsius, I don't even know what it is. It's freezing. And I started my car up today, let it warm up. And Everly got here this morning. I had to drive her to school. And I went to back up and my reverse function, it's gone. I have no reverse in my car right now. So I had to push my car into the road, rolling start it, flip it over, get it in the drive to drive Everly to school. And then I had to strategically drive around the city and park in ways that I did not have to use reverse. So I drove right over to the dealership, traded it in, and it's got to be transmission. I drive a 2012 Ford Fusion. It's got 200,000 kilometers on it, so it was time for a new car. It's gone now. I called it the White Rabbit though, and it lived a good life. It did a good job. Lots of cool finds in the White Rabbit. So thank you all. I hope you all have an enjoyable week. Stay warm wherever you're at. I'm thinking about it. Putting the logo on the back, maybe. Stop it, Tommy. Stop it. My dad worked at Ford's. That's why I buy Ford. And I hope you guys all have a great week. And I will see you next week for some more fun trivia questions. Something more like this. But hope you guys have a great week. Bye.